What's going on, Godzirra Nation? This is Arghgodzirra. We are back with another installment of Arghgodzirra'S footy tipping competition. And this weekend we are looking ahead to round 16 action. Thank you for joining me as always. Now, I'm a bit ashamed because I said that I would get the tally out to you guys last weekend. I forgot I actually had a big weekend planned, so I had to put that to the side. However, if you click on the description down below, you will find an updated list. I thought it was best to chuck it in there, and now moving forward, you'll be able to just, refer back to that each and every week. I will add on everybody's scores. So from round 16 up until round 23, the description of the video will have a running tally up until the end. And guys, as I said, there are a few names still well and truly in the hunt. But let's forget about that. You can have a look at that at your own time. It's time to get our tips underway. And the first match opening the round is Hawthorn taking on Collingwood at the MCG. Hawthorn coming off of 4 consecutive losses. Collingwood coming off of a loss last week, but they had strung a couple of wins prior to that. There's a lot of people that are saying Collingwood are going to start dropping the ball here, and this is where they start slipping down the ladder. However, I feel Collingwood get the job done over Hawthorn. Quite comfortably as well, might I add. I just feel they're the better team. They've had the better run all year. They're starting to fall with injury, don't get me wrong. And that's why a lot of people have them slipping. But I just feel when you put the two sides together on paper, even with the injuries, I feel Collingwood's team is far more superior. So locking in Collingwood to kick it off Friday night. Saturday afternoon kicks off at the MCG with Essendon hosting Sydney. Now this is a game where both teams are coming in with a win under their belt. Essendon doing the unthinkable and defeating GWS last week. Sydney managing to get the job done as well. I really feel this is a 50-50 ball game because I think at the MCG Sydney can come down and do a bit of damage. We all know how the last game between these two went down. I think Dean Rampy's learned not to climb any goalposts anytime soon. But Sydney last week managed to get the job done comfortably even without Lance Franklin up at full forward. It's a real 50-50. I'm going to lock in Essendon for the win. I really feel Sydney can cause an upset, but I'm going with my gut here, and it says Essendon MCG. That's going to play a factor, locking in the Bombers to kick off Saturday. We then fly on over to Metricon, Gold Coast, taking on Richmond. And boy oh boy was it exciting as a Richmond fan last week to see Richmond up and about, getting some of our bigger names in, pushing back into the top 8. This is where I feel Richmond well and truly turned their season around. I said last week, if we got all those names back in, this is where Richmond rebound. This is where Richmond can possibly make up that percentage deficit that they are struggling with so far. I'm tipping them not only to win, but I'm hoping by 50 plus points. And if we can get an accurate score on the board, that percentage is going to go through the roof. So the Tigers for me over at Metricon on Saturday afternoon. We then fly down to the first of 2 showdowns. Adelaide taking on Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Both teams here coming in off a loss. I feel both teams as well coming in with similar momentum. However, I'm going to back Adelaide. I made the decision earlier this year to back Port Adelaide, and that bit me in the ass hard. So I'm going with the Crows here, which could turn around and bite me again because Port Adelaide's probably going to get up now that I've said Adelaide. But I think Adelaide on the run home, better on paper, definitely better on the park, and they're going to be playing finals this year. I don't think they'll finish in the top 4 like I thought they would. However, they're still pressing for that spot. So you never say never, ladies and gentlemen. But Adelaide definitely for me for the Adelaide clash on Saturday afternoon. Down at Marvel, Bulldogs hosting the Cats. Both coming off of impressive wins. I thought the Bulldogs last weekend against Port Adelaide was absolutely incredible. Geelong still managing to do Geelong things, getting the job done against Adelaide. I'm backing Geelong because I still feel Geelong are the more superior side. The Dogs challenged them a lot only a few weeks back. So expect the same fight, especially if the same Bulldogs that played Port Adelaide last week rock up. But I just feel this is Geelong's game to lose, and they really don't have nothing to lose because they're 2 games clear on top of the ladder. They've been the far superior side all year, and I think they continue that dominance. Geelong for me, Saturday night. And Saturday rounds out with the second of 2 clashes, the Western Derby, Fremantle, Eagles, Optus Stadium. Quite simple here. You'd be an idiot not to back the West Coast Eagles. Fremantle last week dropped the ball hard against Carlton. They're going to look to rebound. They're looking at potentially bringing Aaron Sandilands back in this weekend, which would be huge. Aaron Sandilands against Nick Naitanui. Who would have thought we'd be seeing that in 2019, given how both of their bodies have been running? But I feel quite comfortably Eagles win this. Their run home, especially with all the games they're playing at Optus Stadium, I think is going to hold them in good stead to finish in a top 4 position. And this is where they're going to start asserting more dominance that we've seen over the course of the year. So Eagles for me for this derby to round out Saturday afternoon. 3 games on Sunday. The first of which sees Carlton taking on Melbourne at the MCG. This is an interesting game, ladies and gentlemen, because not only am I looking at tipping a certain team, the Reaper is looking at tipping the exact same team as well. So I'm not going to even tell you who I'm tipping, ladies and gentlemen, because it's now time for a segment we like to call the Touch of Death. If you're new to the channel and unfamiliar with how the Touch of Death works, let me give you a bit of a rundown. It's where the Grim Reaper comes along each and every week. He marks one team for death, meaning the opposition is going to get up and obviously secure that win. Has not been able to tip a correct tip yet. Every person he has marked for death has ended up getting up for the win. However, this is the second time this season, since we started this initiative, that the Reaper is backing the exact same team as myself. And we are both backing Carlton to get up over Melbourne. Some of you at home might be thinking, Godzirra, you've gone completely insane. What the hell is wrong with you? But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a while since we have seen Carlton get over the top of Melbourne. Actually, it's been a few years. 2016, round 22, was the last time Carlton defeated Melbourne. Since then, Melbourne has won some very close games, but last year, the absolute drubbing by 109 points. They are looking to turn that around, and I feel they do it this weekend. If you watched the game, Carlton versus Fremantle last week, they just willed themselves to the finish line. They had no Charlie Curnow, who went down early. They had no Patrick Cripps, and they just kept coming and coming and coming. And the fact that Melbourne could be without Max Gawn could play a huge bearing on the outcome of this game. So the Reaper and myself are going with a left side option, and we are both locking in Carlton for the win. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think the Reaper is a chance to get up this weekend. But then we move on down to Blundstone Arena, North Melbourne, St Kilda. Quite simple, ladies and gentlemen. North Melbourne are going to notch up another win and continue their push for a finals berth in 2019. Who would have thought after the start they had that at this point in the season they would have had a caretaker coach step in that has turned their club around 360 and are now looking at pushing into the top 8 for finals. It's absolutely incredible. All the talk about North Melbourne getting Longmire and everyone in it for a coaching position, I think they should put that to the back of their mind. Rhys Shaw, in my opinion, has done more than enough to secure his spot as the permanent North Melbourne coach. I don't know about you. If you're a North Melbourne fan and you're watching this video, let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about Rhys Shaw taking over permanently as your coach. However, you're going to find this weekend North Melbourne are going to do a huge number on St Kilda and continue their finals push for this season. So it's the Kangas for me down at Blundstone. And Sunday rounds out with GWS taking on Brisbane at Giants Stadium. Giants are going to look to rebound after that tragic loss to Essendon. Brisbane managing to do Brisbane things against Melbourne. I'm backing Giants here. GWS at home, you've got to back them in. They have been a serious threat all season. They're pretty much running at full strength, and I've said for a while now, I feel they are a genuine threat to the premiership as well. But I think this weekend, they're going to be too much for Brisbane. Brisbane could pull an upset here, and if Brisbane do, they pretty much lock away a chance to play finals this year, because I think if they knock off the Giants, then they will have the belief that they can knock off anybody. But I just feel the Giants are going to be too strong. They're going to hold the Lions at bay, and they're going to further lock up their chance of a top 4 spot. So looking over who I'm tipping this weekend, we are going with Collingwood, Essendon, Richmond, Adelaide, Geelong, West Coast Eagles, Carlton, North Melbourne, and GWS. Now it's over to you guys. Get your tips in the comment section down below as you do each and every week. And as I said, in the description of this video, you will find a leaderboard of where you are sitting if you've been getting your tips in every week. Originally, I said I would do a whole tally if you had gotten 1 week's worth of tips in and you were defaulting with the away teams. However, I'm thinking I'm only going to put those in that have been continuously coming in either on my social media platforms or the YouTube videos and getting their tips in each and every week. I think it's prudent to back you guys and give you guys a little bit more of the limelight, considering you rock up each and every week to get it in. That's not discrediting anybody who put tips in at the start of the year and have kind of dropped off, but I think it's more so a showing of my appreciation for those who have decided to stick around from start to finish. It means so much that everybody's been getting behind this. I'm looking forward to doing this more often, and I'm hoping to open up the platform to doing different things with you guys moving forward as well, because I love the chance to interact with each and every one of you. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this video. Thank you for joining me as always. If you have been enjoying this, go ahead and leave a like on the video. It goes a long way to supporting myself and this channel, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all that support. If you're new to the channel, plenty of other content to check out. I urge you to do so, and if you enjoy what I'm throwing down, hit that subscribe button and pledge your allegiance to the Godzirra Nation. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.